Hello students, I am here again with English Reader Chapter 5, The Second Voyage of Sindbad the Sailor. Now let's start the story. Today we will begin page number 31. Sure enough, the bird settled down upon it, covering it with its wings to keep it warm, and I cowered close beside the egg in such a position that one of the bird's feet, which was as large as the trunk of a tree, was just in front of me. Now children, underline the word covered. What is the meaning? Just have a look. A position in which knees are bent and upper body is brought forward and down. Now, as Sindbad was sure, the bird would settle upon its egg to keep it warm. He covered close the egg in such a position that one of the bird's feet was just in front of him. Taking off my turban, I bound myself securely to it with the linen in the hope that the roc, when it took flight next morning, would bear me away with it from the desolate island. Now children, underline the word desolate. What is the meaning of desolate? Desolate means barren. Now, Sindbad bound himself with his turban in the hope that when the bird would take flight, it would carry him and bear him away with it. Now, what happened next? And this was precisely what did happen. Now, children, here question arises, what did Sindbad use to tie himself? Sindbad used his turban to tie himself. And why did he tie himself? He tied himself in the hope that when the bird would take flight next morning, it would bear him away with it from the desolate island. Now one more question, children. How Sindbad escaped from that island, or how he used the rock to get away from his current situation or position. So, what is the answer? When the bird settled down upon its egg to keep it warm, he covered close beside the egg in such a position that one of the bird's feet was just in front of him. Then he bound himself with his turban in the hope that when the bird would take flight next morning, it would bear him away with it from the desolate island. Now, as soon as dawn appeared, the bird rose into the air, carrying me up and up till I could no longer see the earth, and then suddenly it descended so swiftly that I almost lost consciousness. Now children, what is the meaning of dawn? Means early morning time, at the time of sunrise. At dawn, the bird rose into the air and carried Sindbad, and then he descended so swiftly, and I became aware that the rope had settled and that I was once again upon solid ground. I hastily unbound my turban. When the Sindbad found that the bird was settled on a solid ground, he unbound himself. Now come to the next stanza. As I wandered about, seeking anxiously for some means of escaping from this trap, I observed that the ground was strewed with diamonds, some of them of an astonishing size. Now children, underline the word strewed. What is the meaning? Just have a look. Scattered or spread. And the next word, astonishing, means surprisingly. Now, as Sindbad wandered about seeking anxiously for escaping from this trap, he observed that the ground was scattered with diamonds, and some diamonds are very big in size. This sight gave me great pleasure, but my delight was speedily damped when I saw also number of horrible snakes. Now children, here question arises, which sight gave him great pleasure? Now, the sight of diamond scattered over the ground gave him great pleasure. And which what frightened him? He was frightened by the sight to show a large number of horrible snakes which was also there. And the snakes was very large that they can swallow an elephant. Come to the next line. Fortunately for me, they seem to hide in caverns of the rocks by day and only came out by night, probably because of their enemy. Now children, underline the word caverns. What is the meaning of caverns? Caverns means large and dark hollow spaces, or you can say holes where a snake live. Now, Sindbad was very fortunate. These snakes hide in the caverns at the time of day and came out only at night. Now, next paragraph. At last, overcome with weariness, I sat down upon a rock, but I had hardly closed my eyes when I was startled by something which fell to the ground with a third close beside me. Now children, what is the meaning of weariness? Weariness means tiredness. Third means very heavy sound. Now, as Sindbad was very tired, he sat upon a rock and suddenly he was shocked. He was shocked to hear a third. Now, what happened? It was a huge piece of fresh meat, and as I stared at it, several more places rolled over the cliffs in different places. Now children, what was it? It was a huge piece of meat, fresh meat, and he saw many more pieces rolled over the cliffs in different places. Now up to here children, story is completed. Now children, let's have a recap of the story. Sindbad started his journey with his companions and he went island to island to make good profit. One day he landed on an island that was covered with fruit, flowers and springs. He fell asleep in a shady place, and when he woke up he found himself alone on that island. Then suddenly he saw a very big white ball which was extremely smooth to touch. Then he remembered the tales about a bird that he heard from other sailors, and he make an escape plan. He tied himself with his turban to its leg, which was as big as a trunk of a tree. And when the bird flew, it carried him to a valley, and this valley is known as a Diamond of Valley. Then he remembered that he heard from sailors about this valley. Suddenly, he shocked to see a very large piece of meat. Now, children, up to here, story is clear. Read the whole chapter. Try to understand. I hope story is very clear to all of you. In my next video, I will explain rest of the story. Thank you.